flat rod hangs over like this, and you can see it in the picture. Well, when it hangs over like that, it touches, not touches, it sits right above three, I gotta say, right there. Three of the magnets. So what we would have here at any given moment with the wheel turning, we would have a north and a two souths, and or we would have when it moves past it, it'd be a south and two norths. But there's always two of one side going in the switching mechanism here. Okay? What we're looking to do here is have that switching mechanism go to the apparatus of the iron pipe here. Now remember, this iron pipe not only goes in the ground 2 or 3 feet, but there's an 8 foot grounding rod underneath that. So it's in the ground about 10 feet. So within the first 10 feet of the ground, there's going to be a Schumann resonance, which is a ground resonance that's flowing by the ground. Okay, now visualize this flowing by the ground. So what I believe Ed did is he tapped into that Schumann resonance by figuring out the resonance of how fast he needed to turn this wheel with the switching mechanism and putting it into the pipe here. Now, if the pipe starts oscillating at the right time that the Schumann resonance is going by, you're going to become at some point resonant with the ground. Now, when you are resonant with the ground, you now opened up Pandora's box. You now have the ground magnetic flow, and you could do a couple things, which is one is levitate, the other is make electricity uh, by switching magnetic into electricity. And Ed talks about that electric and magnets are the same thing, and that they should be called magnicity because pretty much they're magnets. But we show how it makes electric by the conversion of filling the iron's core and then pushing it out through the copper. I'm excited here because what Ed says here about perpetual motion is once you get the currents, the poles in motion in a twist, and they're going to be the same twist as the wrappings. So if you want the north and south chasing each other, you turn, you not turn, but wrap the coil the way you want it to make that happen. So we know right now that this is turning with a right hand twist because this is how I set the coil up and wrapped the wire and then juiced it inside this keeper bar. Obviously, this keeper bar here is still stuck. The energy flowing through it. So if we were to get that energy flowing up and down the pipe at the oscillation of, like say, 7.83 um, hertz, hertz or kilohertz, hertz, up to about 25 or 27 hertz. In that range, we're going to find that we're tapping into the ground and that we're able to oscillate this system to the ground's resonance, which I believe opens up Pandora's in a box in a way that right now we as people are trying to get electricity out of the ground. Well, the ground is magnetic current. So what would we have to do based on these experiments I just did in order to get electricity out of the ground? If you put a voltmeter on the ground, put a coils in the ground, you drive some rods in the ground, what you're going to get out of the ground is very minute electricity, millivolts, maybe up even to the max I've seen out there is like a volt and a half. Just putting rods in and stuff. If you were oscillating that ground, now you plucked you plucked off the ground into your system that magnetic current, which you turn into electricity. There's a lot more here, guys, than meets the eye. So on these PMHs right here, these guys right here are set up for it, and this is a beautiful beast right here. These are set up for Ed's wheel. So I'll put two of these together on the wheel here, and we'll set up a system to where you have the switching device. We will take the PMH like I had it before and have the switching device go into the PMH without power going into the PMH. And what we're going to start off doing is taking the PMHs and allowing them to be part of the system and not so much the driving mechanism like I made before to where the PMHs turn the wheel. I'm not saying we're not going to do that right, but just not right away. The whole goal here is to take this setup here and do what Ed said about if you want even better efficiency, that you would have the outer and the inner core be the opposite poles. And what you're creating there is that every time one center here is south, the other is north, they're going to be chasing each other in a right-hand twist based on the coil turn inside this core and that core, because this coil here would have to be turned so the energy is constantly going down and then spinning back up on a release, going down and spinning back up on the release. And that would create sort of like a right-hand twist. So it would be going like this. The energy would be chasing each other up through the coil, up through the pipe, back down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And the resonance of the magnetic current flux of the ground would get caught up in that resonance of that pipe, and they would pretty much be in resonance and connect. All right, guys, on this video, I hope you enjoyed. There's a couple more sections in the book here I want to go through with you guys. You can see that there's more to the wheel than meets the eye. To electrical engineer, the wheel, is nothing more than a stator, a rotor, okay? And then the coils around it would be the stator, as he implies in the most efficient, on his most efficient wheel, would be field magnets and coils. So when he says that, that kind of says to me that the PMHs could be turning the wheel based on the car battery going into the PMHs, having a magnetic flux pull about itself and pulling the wheel. So that would be turning the wheel. And the energy that's getting caught up in this box here would be split up and converted from magnetism to electricity, but then goes into the two apparatuses coil setups that he has over there on the pipe. And then obviously the pipe is grounded, and the chances of connecting to the ground's resonancy is very good there. It's what I see. So leave your comments, guys. Peace out.